Good morning from the Proctor's Theater. Today is Thursday. We have a special day planned because 2 days ago it was voting, so hopefully everyone did their civic duty or got a chance to go out. I'm joined here today by Alex, Sandra, and Christine, and we're going to talk about the comprehensive plan, but I'm not going to steal their thunder. Oh, it's episode 22. I almost forgot, man. Okay, episode 22 of the Homes Podcast. I want to talk about the comprehensive plan because, I'm going to ask about chickens and trolleys and things that I would love to see. And I think that's kind of the idea of why you're here. So if either of you want to start and introduce yourselves a bit and how the comprehensive plan has become a responsibility that you're working with or the pleasure of working with, please take it away.
I'll let you start.
Okay, thank you, Christine. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good afternoon. Which one is it? It's still morning. Thank you for having us. My name is Alexandria Carver, the Director of Development for the City of Schenectady. The comprehensive plan comes, one of the biggest plans that comes out of the city that helps put the community's vision to life. And our team in development and planning is tasked with making that vision a reality for our community and working with the entire city of Schenectady and the entire community in Schenectady to make it happen.
Hi there. My name is Christine Primiano. I'm the principal planner for the city of Schenectady. I've been with the city for about 24 years. I was involved in the last comprehensive plan, and I think we've accomplished a lot of the goals set forth. And we're looking forward to new goals, new visions. The name of the comprehensive plan we picked was Electric City Recharged.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
right.
we
cool.
have definitely accomplished many things in the past 20 years. And so we just want to build off of that and build off the successes that we've already achieved.
We'll be powering progress and recharging our neighborhoods, Dave.
I love it. No, I think that's a great way to play to the city's history and who couldn't use a recharge every now and then, right? Thank God coffee exists, so I'm here for it. Cool. Well, I guess we're done. No, I'm kidding. So let's. So what was last year's comprehensive? So how often does comprehensive plans come out?
It's supposed to be every 15 to
10
20
to 20 years, just depending on where community's at and what their goals are and how things are changing.
So, Christine, you said you've been here 24 years, so a great
Yes.
place from experience.
Yes.
I want to ask this to you. What were the major pieces of the last comprehensive plan that you felt were rolled out successfully or implemented in a way that made a difference? And what were some of the misses that either didn't seem to make a difference or just we didn't get to in time?
So one big focus was on individual neighborhoods and their goals. And we did see lots of successes in some of the neighborhoods. It's difficult because if a neighborhood isn't organized and isn't working steadily on progression with their plans, then it's hard to achieve their goals. So we've seen some really great things in the Stockade. They're a well-organized neighborhood. Obviously, there's been a tremendous redevelopment in downtown and a lot of the commercial areas, which was a big focus and what gets things moving and the economy moving, and the Mohawk Harbor redevelopment.
Well, in the last 10 years, I know it went from don't buy in Schenectady to if you haven't bought in Schenectady yet, you missed the boat, right? It's and I'm not telling viewers and people out there not to buy in Schenectady, but in the last 5 years alone, the equity gain, and I don't know how much to attribute or not to attribute to, the pandemic, but it has gotten to a point where now property value is nice enough that you can do full gut rehabs and still make a profit on a sale. Like it's no longer the cost of materials prohibiting doing a good work. And without that value add recently, I know there'd probably be fewer people chasing those city-owned properties. And the amount of demand on people wanting to get into Schenectady and make investments is sometimes exhilarating, and if you're the one putting those offers in, a huge task of work. So good on you. Great job. I feel like from what I see on it, it's a huge difference. Now, I haven't been in Schenectady for the 15 or 24 years. I live in just across the border in Niskuna for about 4 years now, and there's a huge difference. What are some of the misses you think that were on the comprehensive plan that just didn't roll out either effectively or just didn't happen as of yet?
I think to piggyback off of what you're mentioning with housing, we weren't ready really to be, focused on redeveloping the neighborhoods. I think we're at that place now, and I think this comprehensive plan will definitely be focused more on housing and the individual goals that the neighborhoods have.
And empowering our neighborhoods. So one of the things that we're doing different with this plan is after we find what the neighborhood issues are, is providing them with a toolkit so that they can execute what they need to accomplish in their neighborhood. So you have a toolkit full of resources and guidance, because the city can't take on every single
Right, we'll be more of a supportive role.
Right, in the neighborhoods. It'll be more support, guidance, making sure we provide them with the resources that they need to kind of say, all right, these are the things that you as a neighborhood association or resident that you can be empowered to do on your own.
Sure. I know 2 episodes ago, I think we had Ron and John in here, and they talked about some of the needs are local construction work. So when we see all these really big projects being taken underway, is that can we put in comprehensive plan, hey, if it's open or closed shop, so union or not union, maybe a percentage of your population has to live within a mile of the workforce. Like what Ron really talked about really hit a lot of notes for me. When I was a proud union member, I drove an hour and a half some days, each way, and had tools with me. And I didn't have every tool on the planet when I started, but, I had the ability to start. And some of the people locally who want jobs are, they don't have the transportation on day one or the tools. I'd love to tie in a comprehensive plan saying, hey, a certain percent of your workforce needs to be hyper local. Is that something that a local community could put in there? Section
3 falls in. And we leave that to Ron. He is the expert in that to make those connections for us.
Yeah.
So the workforce development, those will be pieces that are included.
Cool.
But Ron is the expert for the city in that area.
A great guy to talk to and listen to as well. Like, I think he delivered his message really poignantly. Like, it impacted me in a way I wasn't quite ready for either. I was like, wow. If you can't drive and you don't have the tools, how do you get the job to pay for those things? And that bothered me, trying to think of how do you get a head start without the head start.
All of the department heads, all the departments in the city are tasked with being a part of the comprehensive plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Right now we're at our kickoff stage, so it's the community outreach, the community input. But in phase 2, it is being strategic. It is being intentional. It's about strategizing and putting what we've heard from the community into place. And that's going to take all of our colleagues at the City of Schenectady.
How do the people in the neighborhood and the neighborhoods themselves, which are made up of the people, how do they voice their interests? Where would someone go and say, hey, this is, Dave Kellogg, I'm got a house on Lang Street in Schenectady. This is important to me and my tenants.
I'm so glad he asked, Christine.
Yes,
aren't you?
me too.
Well, you can follow. We have branded the comprehensive plan, and you can follow us and get updates on our website, which is www.electricityrecharge.com. We have our kickoff meeting that will be happening November 18th.
That's coming up
right here
at Proctor's.
In Proctor's Theater.
Hold on. I want to put it in my calendar.
And I brought you something.
Because if I don't put it in my calendar, ask my wife, it's gone. Oh my God.
November
that's
18th, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
I know you can't zoom in on that, but I will make sure that goes in the documents. All right. So we want to be here, 432 State Street on November 18th, 6 to 8 p.m.
6 to 8 p.m. Come grab a bite to eat with us. We'll have a kickoff discussion. We'll be breaking up into workshops based on that discussion and working with our consultants, the Labella. Christine will be there. Jack, our planner. Juan, our assistant planner. Our community development supervisor. Our zoning officer. The development and planning team will be there. And we're so excited to welcome the community for our kickoff meeting.
Some of the people you just said have been here. Like we
Yes.
had Nora Wallace
Yes,
here.
we
And
did.
what a great conversation.
She's the one to answer questions about chickens.
We
Did
talked
she?
about
Okay.
chickens and trolleys
Good.
already.
Okay. Good.
And yeah, I mean, Okay, cool. So I'm going to figure out a way to make that happen because I want to be
Please
here
and
for
share
that.
the word. We the goal is to get at least 150 community members in the space. We're hopeful about that. We want to reach the unreachable, not our traditional people that come to every meeting. So bring a friend, bring someone that might not have access to follow us on Facebook or know who to ask or where to get the information from. Bring someone with you.
Yeah, I think being a good citizen is, even if you don't necessarily agree with everything, being part of the process, because it's so much, it feels so much more validating when you say, hey, why are there chickens and trolleys, and why are those beautiful cherry trees up and down Van Vranken alternating so the neighbors, the sit area can come in and take a look at pink and yellow and white flowers, let's say in April, and then come and graze, and we can feed neighborhoods instead of just having a tree that just looks good. We could feed people on. I think that would, if you could hop on a trolley with a chicken, what a way to win.
And we need the community input. One of the things that we spoke about with our partners is something may come up from the community meeting. We're not going to wait until the full comprehensive plan is done. If there's something that we can be intentional about addressing now, we will address it.
When we do comprehensive plans, we talk about like civic engineering, like permeability of our sidewalks. I've seen Troy do a ton of these nice, beautiful sidewalks, and they pour concrete, which is non-permeable. I mean, it's semi, but it's not going to let rain go through, and they paint them a red brick pattern, which looks pretty. And I'm like, roof is non-permeable, the sidewalk's non-permeable, the side of the sidewalk, which could be green space or something that allows permeability, and all of a sudden you're like, well, for 100 feet in from my house, there's not one place for water runoff to go. So does like a civic engineer put their input in something like that?
That actually is covered in zoning. We do have all the different areas of the cities are different zoning districts. And like downtown, you expect that there wouldn't be much opportunity for permeability and green space, although we do try to put in trees and places for the water to go. But the residential districts have a percentage. They're supposed to be 20% where the water can go into the grass. And so it really just depends on where you are in the city. But it's something that could be looked at and focused on even more, because there is a tremendous amount of strain that's put onto the city's stormwater management system. And that, drives up a cost for sure. I
wonder if that's something that could be measurable. It'd be like, hey, this year 3 times we hit 95 or more percentage capacity on our water runoff system, which is why on these 3 dates we saw water come back up in certain areas. I wonder if that's something that can be traceable, and you say, okay, now that we know that, if we can increase permeability and get it in the ground as opposed to the runoff systems, like track, give us like a grade. That might be something cool to put into almost like a video game term, like, hey, 3 peaks in 2024, 2 peaks in 2026, no peaks in 2027. That might be something fun to measure. But I'm sorry, I'm a big geek with stuff like this. I'm a big geek on stuff like this.
We've been
creating
a dashboard for the city of Schenectady. That may be something that I can bring back to the team as far as something to track.
There are other issues that play into that. Clear storm drains are a big problem.
Sure.
And once they get clogged, then the water just keeps going downhill. And then also really just depending on the elevation of where the water is coming from. I'm sure if you've been on Eastern Ave when there's a big storm, the water is really trucking down the road, and if it can't get into those storm drains, then that's why it keeps going.
I know the city does garbage collection. I know they do their
the
road sweepers. But there's also it infuriates me. You go driving and you see people flick cigarettes, and you're like, okay, that kind of sucks. And you see someone drop out a whole to-go box from a local restaurant, and you're like, what the heck? And then I've seen garbage bags blow off the back of a pickup truck, and they don't stop. I'm like, that is
Right.
It may not make a
contributes-
difference today, but when it rains tomorrow,
Right.
that's going to make a giant difference for the basement that gets flooded.
And it makes a
something.
difference for me on a daily basis as a homeowner in Schenectady,
Yeah.
constantly having to pick up litter.
Yeah.
People pull up in front of your house, or when the wind blows, because I do live on a hill.
Yeah.
Right? Or when it rains, when that water comes down and it stops raining, and now I have all of the garbage in front of my house. So
Soggy and wet and weighing 200 pounds. And
I've
this thing that
invested
I
in
have.
what do you call a little picker?
Yeah, the
Grabbers.
little,
It hung up by my door. And
yeah. I can imagine in the middle of a storm, you're out there with an umbrella, like catching it as it goes. You're like, oh
I
God,
wait
here's
till
another one.
after it rains, but I'm.
Well, your
it's-
civic duty says catch it before it fills a storm drain. I'm just thinking. I just want to have fun there. So, what are the major things that you think you're excited about in seeing in the current upcoming like rough draft of the? Oh my God, comprehensive
Yeah.
plan. Yep.
I'm excited about going to the neighborhoods and hearing what they have to say. Their impression of our successes over the years versus what they think needs to, really be improved. I think that's where the fun is talking to the different neighborhoods and their different perspectives. They have different goals and just hearing what they are.
Yeah, I would second that, and I'm excited about us really being able to brand this, right? Being able to create a logo, create hashtags, be able to make it stand on its own separately,
Yep.
and the innovative way that we're trying to interact with the community. So we'll have social media pages, we'll have those threads. People can, if you go and check out the website, you can make comments, it's to be interactive. So I think that's a new approach this time.
Yeah, we want it to be very exciting for all ages. We want to hear from the kids. We want to hear from the seniors, everyone.
I would love to compare what the different age brackets, and maybe it would have some racial tones or some gender tones, but just by age bracket, it might just be cool to see what people care about. Say, hey, the top 3 topics in under 20, was this, and from 20 to 30 or, whatever. That would be a kind of a fun way to differentiate age groups, or, if someone wanted to be identified by race or gender, break it down for people. One of the advertising things that used to get me was when I taught English in China, and there was this guy that would have this on record and went, Hua Shang, which means peanut, and you'd have no idea where he was, but then he would walk his cart all over the place, and it would just play on loudspeaker like every 10 seconds. It might be a cool thing to, hey, we're going to be in a 10-block neighborhood. Let's, literally broadcast for people who may or may not have the ability or technology, or if for me some days the knowledge of upcoming events, because I'm super busy a lot of the time, to actually like broadcast like audibly in the neighborhood. Hey guys, the meeting, the comprehensive plan, 6:30 at your local.
You should
Public
help us
thing.
do that.
Yeah, I
You-
think you should drive the bus.
You
do.
want
The
my radio
trolley.
voice?
We should get you a
I'll get you
trolley.
We should put me on a trolley and drive me
We're
around.
gonna have a sign made.
I
that
will,
says,
not to
Electricity
steal Troy's
recharged.
thunder, but I bet I could find Uncle Sam's too. And I'm excited. I really want to go to this. I'm excited. I want to see. I obviously want to talk about the things I think are important to me as an investor, as someone that deeply cares about community. I want to see people get excited about putting, fruit trees in and around their yard. I think that's as important as anything. But I'd love to. I'm a big public transportation guy. I want public transportation to be fun. So I'm going to go backpack around Europe, and I'm going to jump on trains. It's exciting. It's a dream come true. And I know the CDTA does great, and I don't want to detract from them, but no one comes from Europe to say, I can't wait to ride CDTA in the capital region.
I know you want the trolleys
I want the
back.
I want
know you've
stuff.
expressed that before.
Come on. Yeah. Well, I don't want.
And this would be the first of many meetings.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is the kickoff. So a lot will come out of this. We'll break up and create subcommittees. We want our stakeholders, our businesses, and then we'll start having specific meetings around certain topics.
Does Schenectady have business improvement districts, like special tax areas
Yes.
Okay. Maurice, if you're in the room, and you are hiding off camera, I'd love to get some business improvement district spokespersons in here and say, hey, this is because I feel like it goes along with the comprehensive plan, because you said you can't teach and enforce every single person. A teacher assigns homework and tells you how to do it, but it's the student's responsibility to do it, right?
Right.
So if we are talking about the city of Schenectady getting input from people and building a plan that seems to make sense, and it might step on a couple toes, but it's going to free up a lot of other possibilities, I would love to talk to the business improvement districts to say, okay, we've allocated some special tax funds, and this is how we're going to go along with or implement different parts of the plan.
And we're not stepping on anybody's toes. We have an advisory committee that we've put together, and because the community members, the people, our stakeholders, our partners, they're the experts. So it's a collective effort. This is a collaboration. This is not just the city of Schenectady, but it's our plan. This is Mayor Gary McCarthy's plan. This is how we put the vision into action and figure out what our priorities are for the next 10 years as a community, as a city.
Yes, maybe the wrong term.
Yeah, don't use the wrong term.
But if I said step on toes, which I did, I'm not denying that, no gaslighting here. When I say that, if I ask my kids what one restaurant they want to go to, and they all fight for 10 minutes and we settle on Taco Bell, someone wanted something else, and the decision for Taco Bell was made. So you can, and prioritizing means putting at the top of the list. If I want chickens and trolleys and it comes in fourth and you're only handling the top three, I'm going to wear a chicken and trolley shirt around Schenectady all day. You didn't step on my toes, but there's only so many resources, and you can only prioritize, meaning push to the top of your list, so many pieces. So maybe step on toes, wrong word.
It is a lot about the resources, though, which is a big reason for the comprehensive plan.
Yeah, it's always.
We have the framework laid out. And a lot of times when agencies, when the city is applying for funding, state and federal funding, they want to know that there's a comprehensive plan goal listed.
Yeah.
They want it identified and already, approved by the community.
Financing is not the only restriction, though. When we talk about major change, we also have mental and emotional batteries that we run out of, because you cannot do everything. Sometimes it's like, hey, I fed the kids today. Sure, it was mac and cheese and chicken nuggets. Not the greatest day, but they didn't go to bed hungry. Some days you win with a lot of nice vegetables and a homemade soup, and some days they couldn't decide. I fed them and they're gone. Thank God, right? But you also have time restrictions. You have political will restrictions. You cannot wave the magic wand and fix everything, because you just can't. So it's not. I feel like people forget that it's not just money and time. It's the whole gambit of feelings and emotions and duration and stamina for projects. Like, I get stamina fatigue. I do not like projects that last more than 6 months. I don't care what it is, because then it becomes a thing that you look at. You're like, holy cow, it's still not done. And you look at it.
You won't last at the meetings, Christine.
Is this meeting going to take more than 6 months? One meeting?
We won't tell them how long it was.
Yeah.
We have phases, remember?
Okay.
We have phases. Different phases might be exciting. It's like you turn the chapter, you're like, I don't want to. Oh, hey, new chapter. Hey.
Exactly.
Cool. So I feel like I've asked a decent amount of questions. Is there anything you want to talk about just in general, either about your position or the comprehensive plan, or when the comprehensive plan you think will go from one stage to the next, what the rollout period looks like? You just give me some background.
Touch on the rollout. So right now is our kickoff, which is phase 1, which is the planning process and reviewing the existing conditions. In the winter time, which is pretty much now, public outreach, community survey, neighborhood meetings, and developing the visions and goals. In spring of 2025, we're going to review the community feedback, refine vision and goals, and develop our phase 1 report. And in fall of 2025 is when we will launch our phase 2, which will be the comprehensive planning process. So the phase 1 is really the community outreach, the community input, feedback.
Cool. So really our time to make those changes as a stakeholder, shareholder, person of interest in the city is in the next 2 months. Like, this is our window, right? Is what you're telling me?
I'd say more like 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months.
It's going to take us some time to visit all the neighborhoods and gather everybody's ideas.
Cool.
And then that's what phase 2 is more about is building that vision of the different ways we want to make changes to the community.
If there's phase 2, what I didn't hear is implementation. Is phase 3 going to be like spring of 2026?
Probably.
That's rollout. There's coal in the engine. We're on the right track. I didn't do a trolley. I did a train reference, and we're full steam ahead here, right? So,
Yes.
okay, cool. I mean, I'm excited to be this early in the process and have this conversation with you ladies, because this to me is really cool to see how the process goes. Who comes out? You know, who will take the hour of their day, even though everyone's busy, and say, "Hey, this is what matters to me." I want to see the turnout rates, and I want to know how busy the meetings are, and then 2 years seems to go by so incredibly quick. Not that I wish it to go by, but I can't wait to see what rollout looks like.
We can't wait, and we want it to be a fun process. And we want you and the rest of the community members and the people who are just as excited as we are invested in our city to come out and help us continue our legacy of being great. I posted something on social media about unlocking Schenectady's potential, right? It's time to build on what we have been doing, the amazing work that has been done the last decade in Schenectady, and take it to the next level. So we're hopeful that this process and this plan will highlight some of those things to help us do that.
I like it. I feel like that's a really great message, a message of hope and progress. And if anyone feels like Schenectady, where you're looking, isn't ready, go take a drive. There's so many pockets of monster improvement right now. There was a 16-unit pop-up on Ostrander, and I couldn't get to it in time, and I'm like, okay. And then right there, you have all that huge improvement on Crane Street, and you're like, millions of dollars, I'm like, wow, right? It's not just downtown, it's everywhere. And with how fast investors are gobbling up these dilapidated leftover homes or city-owned properties, it's like, wow, there's a lot of big change coming, not just driven, definitely originally driven by the government of Schenectady, but now you have all these other people making investments at such a fast rate. It's like if you don't get in soon, you're going to run out of fixer-uppers.
And not just our investors. We just had our Small Business Award ceremony earlier this week, and shout out to our small business owners. Absolutely. We celebrated some businesses that have been operating in the city of Schenectady for 103 years. Newest Lunch. We celebrated Ferrari's 50 years, Orion's 55 years.
That's so
Matthew
cool.
Signs 45 years. So
we're
they
talking
are the
truly
backbone to our economy too. The life, the growth that we see here in Schenectady. So special hello to all of the small business owners, and thank you for how you contribute to making our city great. And we hope that you come out too and be a part of this process with us.
I love it. I think that is a perfect bow on top of our conversation. Did you want to add anything else?
I think that's it for now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we'd like to come back further on.
Yes,
and give an update. And
So one more time, because I do want people to pay attention and come out. We're looking at November 18th, which is a Monday, 6 to 9 p.m. right here in Proctor's Theater.
Yes.
Cool. I hope to see you. I hope to be there, and I hope to see a lot of new faces.
Yes, and thank you again for allowing us the opportunity to come and share the wonderful work that the Department of Development and Planning is doing here. So thank you so very much.
Thank you all.
We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.